Fine. So leave me alone, so leave me alone, so leave me alone, I'm doing fine. So leave me alone, so leave me alone, so leave me alone, I'm doing fine. So leave me alone, so leave me alone, so leave me alone, I'm doing fine. So leave me alone, so leave me alone, so leave me alone, leave me alone.
I do love the pictures of both of us in that opening montage, Terry. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, listening to the show is fantastic, and that's where most people access us. But there is a picture with my co-host and Muhammad Ali, and I can't really beat that one.
Yeah, I've been trying to live up to that moment ever since. 9-year-old, 8-year-old Terry Holloman, and I reached my peak.
Yeah, you really did have some great moments. The sketch on SCTV with Eugene Levy and Rick Moranis, as if one wasn't enough.
I know, right?
But this is our first post-election show together, Terry. And I think I sent one text on election night. It was just to you, and it was just all I said was, "Dude."
I know, man. Listen, so first of all, is it really post-election?
Yeah. I think so.
We think so. We don't know for sure yet, but technically it is. But yeah, I think you might have been one of the only people that texted me like right after that night. I was like, it was like if you were supporting Biden on night one, they had to remove all the sharp objects from the house, all belts and shoestrings, all prescription medicines. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad. Yeah.
I took a bunch of Advil. That's as close as I got to anything suicidal. But I was having some shoulder pains, and it helped. But yeah, I was really panicked for a while after watching the results come in, especially in Ohio, because once again, the polls, and we always have to be reminded that polls are just projections; they're not actual reality. They had Biden up in by double digits in Ohio, which was the case early on. And then Trump came back and ended up winning by 7 points. So that started happening. And I don't know what your network of choice was that evening, Terry. And
MSNBC.
It was MSNBC.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically it came down to you went with Steve Kornacki, their map guru, and now gay icon. If that dude wanted to, he could just clean up because he is beloved. I, out of sentimentality, went with CNN and John King, who's, the tried and true. I feel like he was the first to really have that interactive map. So I stuck with them and eventually put myself to bed at around 11 p.m. Eastern because I realized we're not going to have a winner declared tonight. And I couldn't. They had these breaking news kind of updates called key race alerts, which was all the races, like every single state, where they would just give you updated totals on a state that they could not make a projection on.
Yeah. On my network on MSNBC where I was watching it.
Yeah.
They would do the breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Breaking news: Florida too close to call.
Right. Yeah.
Wisconsin.
It was enraging.
Why are you telling us this right now?
I don't know. It's not.
Why are you
even
talking to us?
Yeah. It should. There should be some sort of reminder. Chiron and audio package. Just a reminder. Like we said 45 minutes ago, Florida is still too close to call.
Still too close to call.
But then, it became clear as the week went on that a very narrow victory electorally in a lot of states. Overall, both candidates set records in terms of how many votes they got. I think Biden's around 74, Trump's around 71. The previous record was 69.5 with Obama back in 2008 when he just absolutely, destroyed John McCain. Even I would bet not everything, but a decent amount of money that John McCain voted for Barack Obama.
Coming close down to the end, it looked like he was going to.
He really did. He's just kind of I get it. I'm just sort of in the way of this massive change.
Decent man. He's a decent man.
He was a very good man. But yeah, then the weeks or the hours stretched on in 2 days, but pretty much starting on Thursday night and then going on into Friday morning, it was quite apparent that Joe Biden won. And then Saturday, the projection came from AP, and I had some dude. So I'm in Portland. You're in Seattle. I was on the Max on Saturday, just kind of going downtown, obviously in a very safe, socially distanced manner, just to check out people's celebrations. And out of nowhere, this guy was yelling at me on the Max that it was unconstitutional for the media to pick next president. And I'm like, well, that's probably true and not true. I don't think it's probably mentioned in the Constitution, but they're just making projections. But I got off the train and there were people and that's why the show is called The One Nice Afternoon. This episode is called The One Nice Afternoon. It was just like a really good time, and people were feeling all sorts of different emotions, all interconnected with one another: relief, joy, optimism, happiness. And it was, I get it. I live in a super lib city, and I'm sure there were places that were really bummed out, but it was really just nice to see a group of people, because we hadn't seen this in 2020, a group of people just like thoroughly enjoying life on that one particular afternoon. It was like, for me in 2020, the one nice afternoon. And I was just someone who sort of witnessed it. I just wanted to go down and to see what people were up to. And it was really great.
And kind of just soak it all in. I know I didn't.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, I didn't get an opportunity to head to any major metropolitan areas or go and soak it in, but I did watch it on television. And it's been a long time, really, since we saw people gathering in joyous occasions and celebration. Like the last 6 to 8 months, we've watched people gather together in large groups and something was going to catch on fire, or somebody was going to get shot, something was going to get broken. And this time, people were just coming together and celebrating. Really, I think celebrating what seems to be a weight lifted off the back for a vast majority of us. And it's a breath of fresh air. And I'll be honest with you. And I mean, I'm sure there's obviously close to 70 million people out there who are not so excited about the situation. But we've had there's another 74, 75 million of us who feel like we've had a foot on our neck for 4 years. And to have somebody take their foot off your neck after 4 years it feels pretty good.
And I think even I've talked to a decent amount of Trump supporters or friends of Trump supporters, and I've tried. I never wanted to be just dismissive of them, because that's why Democrats lose, is that they write people. That's why Hillary Clinton lost. She just wrote off these people, and then there was that surprise victory by Donald Trump. And I didn't want that to happen again. I wanted to figure out why Trump appealed to people very close to me that I'm not going to write off. I mean, they could literally be wearing a MAGA hat, sweatshirt, and sweatpants, and still, like, I love you, dude. Like, I wish you weren't this way, but you're always going to be part of my life. So even a lot of them, though, were kind of relieved to be moving on from this era. And it's an era that I think is going to be somewhat quickly forgotten.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of it was, and I'm talking about really focusing on one specific person who was as avid a Trump fan and voted for him, but like did it just for the sake of consistency, but was kind of embarrassed by the vote and was not at all upset to see that Joe Biden won because of his performance during the debate. And it was just reinforced by Trump's behavior post, Tuesday, where he's making all these scurrilous claims that there's been some sort of election fraud or whatever. And none of them, of course, have been proven. Both 2 cases, and all that needed to be tossed out were 2 cases, have been dismissed by judges, immediately laughed at and dismissed. Like, it's just not what happened.
Right.
Biden's the next president. And then for him not to make a concession speech, not to even be there for the transfer of power or be there on Inauguration Day, it was just kind of enough for him. And I think that there's probably, of that 71 million, there's I'm not going to say there's 35 million that feel that way, but I'm guessing there's like 5 or 6. And I think that a great way for Biden to turn that 5 or 6 into 19 or 20 or 23 or 25 perhaps, is Trump's going to be facing some stuff, I think, after he gets out of office, where the office was protecting him. The Southern District of New York has been conducting an investigation for a long time, as has the FBI. So he might be facing some sort of charges. I think it would be a great idea for Biden to say, I think it's bad for this country to see an ex-president on trial in jail. Let me pardon him of anything.
Yeah, and that's where I disagree with you, Zach.
Yeah,
I disagree with you. I know I have a great feeling that, just like you do, that the Southern District of New York has a long list of things they need to talk to Mr. Trump about when he is no longer the president of the United States. I feel like there are some federal things that he might be facing as well. I know the Cohen situation is heading his way. I know there's lots of civil actions heading his way. There was the interaction with the young lady where he allegedly sexually assaulted a young lady that will be coming to bear when he's no longer the president. So I think there's a myriad of things that are coming his way that, the office will not be able to protect him anymore. And more importantly, and this is the thing, I don't know if a lot of people out there really understand the situation that we're in as a country with having him as an ex-president. We know how much of a loose cannon he is. We know how much of a liability he is when we talk about his business acumen and his business debts and his personal debts. We are estimating anywhere between $400 million to $1 billion that he owes to, who knows, allegedly Deutsche.
Yeah, so banks you've never heard of, definitely.
Exactly.
It's not like Wells Fargo. Yeah, it's not a credit union. Yeah,
right.
It's shadier practice.
Who you don't necessarily want to be in business with if you are on the up and up. But my point is, after all that is said and done, and he's no longer the president, but we know he's a loose cannon, he's a liability, what's to prevent him from going out there and saying, hey, I know the secrets. I know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, the one thing that's protected him, though, Terry, are NDAs. So let's say that there is some sort of, non-disclosure agreements. Let's say that the pardon comes with some sort of strings attached, because it's not fun living. It's not fun living in this version of America. I don't like it. I think partisan bickering is fantastic. I think robust debate is wonderful. I even think like stalemates when it comes to passing bills is a great thing. That's like purely democracy. When it's 51-49, it should be a fight. But right now, none of that matters. It's just that we've chosen our sides, and our sides are based on more like a cult of personality than anything else, than policy. Because I've talked to Trump supporters and just pointed out, like, you don't actually like any of his policies. You just like him. And they'll concede that, but continue to support him anyway. But Biden could put a lot of an end to that. And then what else could, at that point, former President Trump say than thank you for pardoning him from these upcoming charges? And that would be his only play. And then if with this pardon came some sort of NDA agreement where he couldn't reveal a lot of the national secrets, a bunch of us are sort of worried about him actually putting out there. And Russia is just like this, God, just let him get bombed on bourbon one night and we're going to know everything. It's sort of ethically a little dubious. I get that. But it also puts him out of the news faster. Whereas a trial, a potential conviction, a sentencing just keeps him in the news all that much longer. And also finds him, it puts him in a position where he can still rally his supporters to be behind him and support him and give him the ability to demonize Democrats and socialists and MS-13 and all his, familiar targets.
Here's the thing, though. So I think that in a normal situation, that would work. With a normal person, with a normal human being, with a rational mind, and with a rational thought process, that would probably work. But we're talking about Donald Trump. Man is incorrigible. Like literally, he's what we call a no limit soldier. He is the walking abyss. Like he knows no limits, right? Like there's no bounds. I don't think, like, can you think of anything that would cause him to, like, I can just see him right now, like teasing that he knows, teasing like on air, like, yeah, well, it might take an hour, it might take 30 minutes for a missile to leave Nebraska and reach Moscow. It might not. I don't know. Who's to say? It's like letting, like if you've seen a wild pit bull dog running down the street, he might be perfectly fine, but he might also bite your face off, right? That's
he would still be able to say all this from prison. Whoever, say David Muir got the the exclusive with him from prison, he would still be able to say all this.
If he was in prison, they'd lock that down, I would think.
Maybe
he'd be in solitary. And I don't know, dude. I'm just saying. And then so not only of that, and again, I see Brian Hawley has chimed in here. One of our listeners and watchers has chimed in, and it's the exact same thing that I've been thinking about too. Trump's 2024 re-election PAC committee will backfire big time. Every New York Southern District prosecutor is now on a holy mission. You think about that. Trump was a one-term president. 4 years from now, if he's scot-free and clean, he has no dirt on his record, he's free to run. He's free to run. His MAGA crew will be ready to roll. And there, you already see how they come out in force, in mass.
Yeah, but 4 years is a long time for people to forget about stuff. And I don't know if he could reemerge now that he's been defeated, because he was kind of undefeated, in his whole life, even though, it seems like he's a devastatingly awful businessman, but I don't know. You have to be kind of rich to begin with to rack up $500 million in debt. I couldn't do it.
Nobody. Like, how do you do that?
I don't know.
I can't get a $10,000 loan. What are you talking about, man?
If someone stole my wallet, they would have the most disappointing crime spree ever. Like by the time they bought their second pair of shoes, it would be like, I'm sorry, your cards are maxed out. So I've never been successful enough to run up that kind of debt. But yeah, I guess 2024, and it shouldn't, feels like a long time away. I know people are talking about it already. I don't think the Republicans would even. I think that they would more actively try to block him as a candidate. I think that they're going to throw Mitt Romney. Yeah, I think that being that a centrist won this time, and the Republicans do have some centrists, and Terry, I'm going to say this: I'm not expecting much from the Biden presidency. I don't think he'll be a great president, but I don't really care. He won't be a terrible president. He'll have a solid cabinet.
Yeah. Pretty mediocre.
He'll be middle of the road, kind of, to compare him to probably George H.W. Bush sounds like a decent comparison. Like, not great, not bad. He'll probably, if he's still got it, he'll probably win a second term, because most incumbents do. But it's going to be kind of it's going to be the cabinet that drives things, and it seems like Elizabeth Warren might be part of the cabinet. I don't see Mayor Pete's name around. I wish I had, but other than Veterans Affairs, I have seen him mentioned. But the most important thing to me is just to get what's soon to be the ex-president's name out of news as quickly as possible. And he'll never be completely out of news, because remember, he started the birther movement. He didn't start it, but he made it mainstream.
Right.
He's still going to be there chirping away, but it's going to be more sideline stuff. And the faster we can do that, I think it's better off for the mental, health aspect of this nation. Because I hate the word healing when it comes to this sort of shit. Dude. But there is some healing that needs to be done, not only from people who've been upset about Trump for the past 4 years, but people who are going to be upset about him not being there for the next 4.
I love your optimism right now, Zach. I love it. It's refreshing.
I gotta do it.
It's refreshing. I understand probably why you're doing it. You're trying to look at, the glass is being half full here, and
I'm looking at just the glass has any amount of liquid in it.
it's good.
It's not even half full. Just can I get a tiny little baby sip?
That's the thing. So here's the thing. I like I said, I understand why you want to do that. Right now, I want to be as optimistic as possible. I want to move beyond this era that we've been in because it's absolutely been toxic. Even if you don't involve yourself in politics or current events on a daily basis, it's been toxic. It's just been around. But I, for the life of me, not for 1 second, don't believe that a Donald Trump that has free reign, that has freedom, is going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He cannot. He spent the last 4 years at the top of everyone's mind, on the tip of everyone's tongue every single day, and he's intoxicated by it. And I don't think he has worked his whole life for this. Back in the days when he used to call the New York Post with the fake name Barron, when he would say, "Oh, Donald Trump is the greatest businessman ever," and act like he was like somebody else that knew him, or whatever, Barron something or other. He's wanted to be in the limelight, probably as much as more than he wanted money.
If you don't know that story, he used to call as Donald Trump's publicist or whatever PR person, but it was actually him, and he would just talk about all of this. Would be so goddamn funny, Terry, if he didn't become president. Like but it was actually him, and he would talk about like all these beautiful women that were throwing themselves at him, and how everything he puts his hand on has just become an amazing success. But if you go back and because he has a truly unique manner of speaking in both cadence and just the quality of his voice, it was so obviously it's such a bananas thing to do.
That dude that did that became the leader of the free world, man. People, like, please, all everyone that's listening right now, just stop and think about that.
Yeah,
like, just stop and think that you would call someone else, let alone a media outlet, and pretend to be somebody else. First of all, that's insane. Any adult that does that, and you're not on like Crank Yankers, or you know what I'm saying, something is wrong with you. So I'm calling up to pretend that I'm somebody else.
Yeah,
that pumping me up. Like, hey, I'm gonna call the radio station. Hey, there's this guy, Terry Holloman. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's great. You've got to get him on air. I've never had anybody as engaging and as funny as he is. Oh my God. Look at it. Oh, that's what he did.
It is. And that's not even top 10. Well, it's probably top 10 crazy moments. But the fact that there's like 9 comparable things. Yeah.
So, I don't see him leaving anytime soon, willfully.
No, he's not. But my point is that he's going to become less relevant immediately. He already has. And then the faster that we can squash him into total, because my hope is that there's going to be, and we saw this today. Today was a great day in terms of news. Pfizer has developed a vaccine that even Fauci is like, this is remarkable. You know how reticent Fauci is to endorse anything.
Right.
It's crazy to think that like January 1st, 2021, we're going to have this resurgence of happiness and we're going to be able to get together and, join the MLK Day parade that happens. But the fact that at some point during next year, vaccines will start to be handed out, and then businesses will fully be able to reopen. There'll be no more like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 shit and all that. I feel like doing anything to have that optimism be at the forefront would be great, and minimizing Donald Trump's voice as much as possible, and also for Biden to do that, like, you're taking away. So people hate Biden, but not the way they hated Hillary.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
And then you would remove even another layer of hate for him if he was the one who was like, yeah, you have these prosecutions perhaps that are being laid out against Donald Trump for, crimes you and I really would never be able to commit. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to stick to this position just because I miss days when I met, like, if you remember the debates between Obama and McCain, like you watch them now and they're phenomenal because it's nothing but policy, and they don't interrupt each other, and they have very different ideas. But at some points they even agree with one another, which is like, yeah, that's actually how DC works. Mm-hmm. If we can do anything to get back to that.
But before you get off of that, because I think so there are so many people, I think, in America, obviously, that are new to the entire political spectrum, like the entirety of how everything works, from the debates to campaigns to developing policies to all of that. And they don't realize how things used to be prior to Donald Trump. And like you said, these guys used to debate policies, and I used to watch those debates, and I used to think, how in the hell are they coming up with all this stuff? Like, how do you have all this stuff top of mind? Like everything from foreign policy to immigration to economic policy, like details, A, B, C, D, E, and going on. And now it's devolved into your face is long. You have you stay like, some childhood playground stuff. Like whoever has the most jabs wins.
Right. Yeah.
And I agree. I want to go back to the old ways where we would actually, based on the merits of your argument, determine who was the better qualified.
Yeah, it sounds lovely.
It sounds good. It's Nirvana almost, right?
It is almost Nirvana. It is true. Maybe I'm just being too idealistic, but shucks, that's fine.
Oh, gee.
But then, it was the one nice afternoon. And then, of course, because we had a piece of good news and people celebrating, we got a bunch of pieces of bad news. Alex Trebek passing, which is that guy fought pancreatic cancer as hard as you can possibly fight.
I thought he beat it.
I mean, his last day of filming was October 29th. That's not even 2 weeks ago. And pancreatic cancer that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Which, you don't even think about your pancreas. I don't for 100% certain. I'm not 100% certain what my pancreas does.
I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is.
Say I got one.
Yeah. And I guess it's healthy at this point. But I met him when I was 8 years old. So my dad used to play in this, he played for the Flyers alumni. My dad's an ex-hockey player in the NHL, and used to play these celebrity teams, mostly comprised of Canadians. And Alex Trebek is Canadian. It's probably our greatest import to America. You're welcome. And
Trebek, and then Celine Dion and poutine.
Poutine's pretty good. That's true. Poutine is good, and we have some decent syrup. But I remember when I met him when I was 8, and dude, if you watch the opening montage again, you saw me when I was 8. Like, I had bifocals, braces. My mom dressed me in terrible clothing. So I looked like a kid who would just be a bother. So I remember going up to him, when my dad played against him. There was kind of these after parties, and I got to like saunter around and get autographs. And I posted this on Facebook. He signed his name, who is Alex Trebek, which is, God, that's just great. And there's so few people. Betty White comes to mind that no one has like a nasty word about. And Alex Trebek, and I don't know if you've been watching some of the like on-air tributes that contestants were giving to him, knowing that he was battling this form of cancer. But yeah, he just seemed like a through and through good guy. And we all make the assumption that he's smart, which he might not be. He had the answers, or he had the questions.
Definitely had that.
Yeah.
I was just like you said, I haven't seen too many of the tributes, but there's one in particular that I did catch. And I don't know whether, it was dusty in my house, or the allergies were kicking in, or somebody was cutting onions. but it was actually a guy. It was actually on the show. It was a guy of Middle Eastern descent, Indian descent, and he had just won, and he said he had, he wanted to tell Alex something, that he was born not speaking English, and that he would sit on his grandpa's lap every day and watch Jeopardy, and that's how he learned how to speak English. And if it was not for Alex Trebek, he would not know English. And he was crying as he was telling them this, and I was just like, oh my God, like so moved, and it struck me because I'm a huge Jeopardy fan. I watch it religiously. I wanted to be on Jeopardy. I wanted to meet Alex Trebek. I actually signed up to be on Jeopardy. That's how serious I was about it. And it was definitely.
How close did you get?
I think they sent me a couple of emails.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know how close I got. So I don't know if I've ever told you this, Zach. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. If not, this is brand new.
I love a Holloman secret. No, if it's Jeopardy related, I don't know. I don't know the story.
I signed up to be on The Weakest Link. I signed up to be a contestant on, I don't know if everybody remembers the show from the early 2000s, You Are the Weakest Link. Goodbye.
Well, it's just coming back now. Jane Lynch.
And it is coming back. It's making a resurgence. And I actually got selected to be on The Weakest Link. Not only did I get selected to be on The Weakest Link, I won on The Weakest Link. I was the grand prize winner. So I came home, and I think I had applied or put my name in. My wife actually did it for Jeopardy at the same time. And so they called me back to be on Jeopardy. And then they were like, oh, have you been on any game shows? And I guess there's a rule, some kind of California law, that states you cannot be on 2 game shows within the same year.
What did you just tell me? You got rejected from Jeopardy because you had already. Do you have a copy of that episode?
Yeah, I got it on VHS somewhere, and I think it's actually online too.
I think it is. Okay. God damn, Terry. Every time you just reveal a little nugget about yourself, it's never something just like, oh, well, it's a decent anecdote, like cocktail party good. It's always like, yeah, well, I won the Weakest Link. Bro,
the story can get ridiculous. That entire Weakest Link story. I mean, can I please tell you, since
please do. Yes,
it's entertaining. So I got selected to go on the Weakest Link.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Los Angeles, so they fly you out, put you up in a hotel, and then the deal is you're supposed to be sequestered all day, right? Like, because you're in the back room with a bunch of different contestants. They film a bunch of episodes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I come out on a Friday, and a bunch of my friends and family live in LA. So people came to the hotel to came visit me, and a couple of my buddies that I play football with was like, hey, you're going to think I'm lying when I tell you this story.
I know. Why would I think that? The last thing I think about Terry Holloman is liar. Although the second to last thing I thought about Terry Holloman was grand prize winner of the Weakest Link. So
we go, my boys come and get me, right? They're like, hey, we're going to go to Mike Tyson's birthday party. I swear to God. We're going to go to Mike Tyson's birthday party. Well, I'm like, well, how do you say no? Okay, let's go. We go to Mike Tyson's birthday party. And
every time you say it, it sounds crazy.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
Okay, keep going.
So I'm in there and I'm looking around and I'm just seeing like celebrities everywhere and whatnot. And I look and I see.
Wait. No. Let's get all the details. What sort of celebrities are you seeing?
So I see Ja Rule, who was there at the time. You know the rapper Rakim.
Okay. Yes, Eric
Rakim was there. I
ended up talking
to him. We exchanged numbers. I told him I was there to be on the Weakest Link. He was like, "Word, son? Yo, I'm not even kidding you." So Kim.
Yeah.
There was a couple other. One of the chicks from Destiny's Child.
Okay, but not Beyonce.
No, it wasn't Beyonce.
Yeah.
This was one of the other ones.
Yeah, right.
But I look and I see Suge Knight.
Jeez.
Suge Knight. And I touch my boy. I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to Suge. I want to go talk to Suge.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of, I loved music and I was doing music and stuff at that time. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to Suge. They were like, don't go talk to Suge.
Yeah.
I was like, why not, man? Why am I gonna be afraid of Suge, man? We know people like that. We've seen. They're like, Terry, you don't know Suge. We from LA, man. People in LA just don't walk up to Suge. I was like, I'm walking up to Suge, and I walked up to Suge, and I stuck my hand out, and I was like, what's up, man? My name's Terry. Blah 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 blah. He had a cigar. He was like, reached out, shook my hand, told him why I was in LA. Told him I was into music and blah 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 blah. Dude gave me a card and was like, "Come by my office tomorrow." I was like, "All right." My boys were looking at me like, "Dude, do you know what you just took your own life into your own hands?" I was like, "Nah, it ain't that bad. He's not that. Why would it be that bad? Why would he do anything to me, right?" He ends up throwing somebody over the balcony that night.
What?
That's how the party ended. He throws somebody over the balcony.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So then I go home after Mike Tyson's birthday party.
Did you interact with Tyson at all?
No, I never did. I never did interact with Tyson.
Okay.
But I get home. It's like 3:00, and then it's like you got to be up at the studio at 5:00.
Mm-hmm.
So I stumble in there. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. This is the most ridiculous thing. I'm half asleep, hungover. I'm in LA, about to be on this national TV game show.
Yeah.
And I'm in the backstage with all the people, and we're sequestered. We can't have phones. We can't do anything, right? So then they say, I'm sorry, but I have to get this off. This is fun. They say, okay, the only time you guys can leave the room, we're all going to go to the bathroom at the same time. That's the only time, and we couldn't talk to each other really in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all go to the bathroom, and the dudes, we're all in there, and they go, you know what would be cool? They're like, what? They're like, if we just voted off all the chicks. Like Survivor. They're like,
right.
Yeah, well, let's do it. So how are we going to do it? We'll go from left to right. We'll just vote them all off. No matter if they know all the answers or if they don't, we'll just kick them off. Then we'll have a free fall for us.
Mm.
So that was the only time we talked the whole time. And then we got on stage, and that's exactly what we did. Kick them all off.
So there's what, 9 of you to start with? I don't remember that.
Like 7.
7. Okay.
7 or 8.
Yeah. So you knew at the very worst you're going to be in like the top 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then I just got to beat the rest of these dummies.
Yeah. And then I mean, how it seems like being the grand prize winner, the Weakest Link should have been the most surreal moment of your weekend, but your interaction with Suge Knight has to be the most lasting memory, I would guess.
Yeah. People don't believe it. Like it was.
Do you know why he threw the guy off the balcony? I mean, not that he ever had like a rational reason necessarily. No. Nope.
All I know is they're like, we got to go. Suge threw somebody off the balcony. I was like, literally, that's what happened. I was like, we got to go. Suge threw somebody off the balcony. Party's over.
Oh my God. That's a phenomenal story.
Yeah,
jeez.
Yeah, it really happened, man. So
you keep topping yourself with that kind of stuff.
I think I'm about tapped out now, unless I,
Well, that's a good, definitely a good thing to leave on. I mean, that is freaking hysterical. I mean, other than I'm assuming the man died.
No, he lived.
He did. Okay, then it's all good.
It's only the second story. It wasn't like it was a skyscraper.
Oh, okay. So, second story. Yeah, no biggie. Yeah. Bruised shoulder. Maybe some sprains. But
collarbone.
I'm sure right now he's telling the story like, yeah, and then Suge and I don't know. He was just all pissy. He handed me a business card. But then I apparently said the slightest of wrong things.
Suge Knight sent me a contract. I'm not even. I know I sound like I just keep making up shit after making up shit. My wife is watching. She can attest to this.
I believe it. I believe
Suge
it.
Knight sent me a contract. Like
No reason to believe you. For what?
For music.
You made so did you make because murders aside, the guy was groundbreaking in terms of, I mean, not just that genre, just in the way, in music.
Oh yeah, he's one of a kind.
Did you have a demo or anything?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's why I wanted to be Suge.
All right. Yeah.
Man.
I mean, Terry and I have known each other for a while, but like, there's a lot of details about each other's lives that we are clearly. I'm assuming you weren't Terry Holloman. That wasn't your performer name. What was it?
We're not talking about that past life, man. This is
no. I think that's important for people to know.
We are in the anarchist jurisdiction right
We
now.
are, but even in the anarchist jurisdiction, your past is still there.
And current events.
Yeah, sure. No, but what was your? Oh, what's Tihala? Okay, no, really, that's good. That's actually I was hoping it was that.
Yeah.
Where did you? I'm sure you still have some of the tapes around.
Somewhere.
You think Suge would have been into it?
He sent me a contract. I'm not kidding you.
So he did listen and actually
he sent me a contract to sign.
What happened?
Because it's Suge Knight. It's Suge Knight.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, we got history, man.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, if you could compare yourself to someone I might be familiar with in terms of,
I have my own style. Really,
you did.
So the truth is, so I did music, but my brothers were more into it than I was. So damn, here I go making up stories again. My brother, his boy made a demo my senior year of college. And that really, we always used to just be rapping and stuff. That, we're young Black kids growing up. We were always kind of rapping around, right?
Yeah.
And so they made a demo. My very good friend was about to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. And he was like, hey, Terry, let's start a record company and sign your brother. And we were like, okay, let's do it. He's like, but I want you to run it. I'll finance it. And we'll just make music. I was like, cool, let's do it. I won't even try to play football. I'll just run the record company. And so I was the face of this local record company in Seattle. And then that kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Somebody convinced him that it was a bad idea to do a record label and play football. And so so then I just started rapping too. Rapping and running a record label.
Fuck, man. That's amazing. I have to hear some of your music. This has to happen.
Maybe one day.
Maybe you're not proud of it, but look. Yeah, I actually have a copy of my EP right in front of me. So I was in a band called the Toros, and this is our one record. It's called Reading is Important. I'm reading an Oprah Club version of Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections, which, if you like that book, you're an asshole. And it's So
what did you do?
I was the singer. I sang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Okay.
But guess who was never interested in my music? Not only Suge Knight, but anybody who had any sort of influence. This is you'll notice the lack of a record label here. We put it out ourselves. So
yeah,
no,
I mean that's par for the course most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
You guys recorded locally in Seattle?
No, this was in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Yeah, Punk Haven that place is when I lived there.
How did that go?
It was just I was working. So this will get a little inside, but it's just Terry and I chatting. I was working for Bonneville, and they were owned by the Mormon Church.
Right.
Still are. So I was just writing a lot of songs about Here's one. It's called Gay Agenda. Cheerleading is not just for gay boys anymore. So it was fun. So I'm producing like the most influential show in Utah, hosted by this dude named Doug Wright, put out by the Mormon Church, espousing Mormon values. And then at night, I'm in a punk band. Just yeah, it was fun. But again, never got a. Let's face it, Death Row was pretty much a major label. No, it never got a major label contract. If I don't wake up in the morning with like some T Holla MP3s, dude, then I'm giving out your home address.
By the way, so when I met Suge, it was Death Row was Snoop was gone, Tupac was dead.
Yeah,
it was on his last leg, and so
yeah,
I think he was really just trying to scam money out of people at that time. And throw people off the roofs and balconies. So I wasn't interested in that.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched a video of him run over somebody.
Yeah, he killed the dude. That's why he's in prison.
Yeah. It's
for life.
He made sure he double tapped that fucking guy.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny.
Because I don't
know.
Man.
I don't know him. So
no, but and it was somebody that he knew too, a friend of his.
Oh, I'm sure.
Over and ran him back over. Like,
yeah. Well, it's probably a blessing and a curse that you didn't get that deal.
I'd say I'm still here.
Yeah, you're still there.
Jurisdiction.
You are. All right, so I'm doing this last part for my mom. We talked about Alex Trebek's cancer. It turns out, let me just find a picture. Give me a second. Again, if you're downloading this, you won't be able to see it. But this is my mom and her sister Marge. I don't know how well you can see that, Terry. But my mom's the one with the black headband on, and my Aunt Marge is the one with the red hat on. With of course, Canadian leaf. She's always repping Canada. So, like a month ago, she was diagnosed with cancer and was given, at that time, about 5 years to live, which was upsetting because anytime there's a timeline put on the rest of you, that's tough. And since then, it's gotten very bad. It spread first into her lungs. She had breast cancer a while ago. And, I don't know if you ever beat cancer because there's always a chance of it coming back. But, for a while she was healthy, like in remission, I guess we call it. Now it's everywhere. And this has all been a revelation over the past 3 weeks. I've been at my brother's house in Portland. He's in Canada. My Aunt Marge lives in Canada, in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And my brother Jake is up there trying to quarantine enough. They're very strict, especially when it comes to Americans visiting. Quarantine enough to be able to get to her to be able to say goodbye. And my mom left about a week ago and is trying to do the same. She's quarantining with my aunt, Joanne, great aunt Joanne, and is applying for a compassionate. There's like this compassionate exemption because we don't know how much time Marge has left. That hopefully she doesn't have to do the full 14 days and could get there a little bit sooner and be able to say goodbye. I talked to my mom today, and she's like the best person I know. And Marge is the one person in her entire life that has always put like the biggest smile on her face. And, there's that old cliche, like when someone is making, it's an old like Looney Tunes thing when you're trying to make a decision whether you should be good or bad. There's an angel on one shoulder, a devil on the other shoulder. My mom's definitely the angel, and and Marge is definitely the devil. Yeah. But they need each other, like right. they exist. Right. And they have the most wonderful relationship. And I was talking to my mom today, and I was asking her. I wasn't asking her. She was asking me, "What do you say to someone who's doing this?" And there's no good answer, you know. So I asked her, "Do you mind if I talk to Terry about this?" And dude, she really likes you. She loves you.
I know.
She said, "Sure." Terry seems like he's got some wisdom, and I guess that's why I'm bringing it up, because you definitely do. And it's been a tough year for a number of reasons, but even if you don't have any, I just want you to know it's really been great talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for that.
Man, first and foremost, I'm sorry. Sorry you have to go through this. Sorry your family's having to go through this.
Thanks, dude.
It's never, like you said, it's never easy.
Yeah.
You never really know the right things to say or the right things to do. 2020 has been a year like no other, and it seems like it's affecting more and more people, and death is has been all around us, and bad news has been all around us. I think, like you said earlier in the show, man, any liquid in the glass right now is welcome.
Yeah. Very true.
So I think we just need to find some of the positives in our lives, and sometimes it's this. I look forward to this, man. I look forward to hanging out and talking to you.
It's fun. It's fun.
And it started at a time when there was nothing going on.
Yeah.
When there was the world was shut down.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect opportunity for us to get reacquainted, get reconnected, and talk. Whether that we had 1,000 people listening and watching, or nobody listening and watching, and I will continue to do that, man. But again, I'm heartbroken for your family, man. I know the feeling.
Yeah, it was such a massive, to go from 5 years to, the diagnosis changes so much, and then in most situations, my mom would just fly from Philadelphia to Saskatoon via Minneapolis, but now with COVID screwing everything up, and she'll get there in time, but it's usually you get some time to do a lot of things for the last time, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, unfortunately. And so the again, watch us. They get posted on YouTube and everything, but the last image in our opening montage is my Uncle Dale. Yeah, and that's Marge's husband.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's Dale, who's a great person and just been a rock forever. So yeah, I'm starting to use these as kind of therapy sessions a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
My other life event, I'm getting divorced, and I don't give a fuck about that anymore. Like, I don't. I really don't. Like, people are talking to me like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And like, I don't give a shit. Like, I had this like new freedom that I feel, and reconnecting with people that I should have reconnected a long time ago. And it's a weird thing, Terry. I just like I've never been approached by Suge Knight to make a hip hop record, which is bullshit. But you've never been through a divorce, so people don't know how to really talk to you about it,
right?
And they're like over concerned about my situation in that regard. And then when I say like, no, seriously, I'm fine, they're like, oh, he's really hiding his feelings. Everybody, I'm not hiding my feelings.
I'm telling you right now, right?
Psyched. Like, I'm really happy about actually that particular life situation.
Oh man, it is what it is, man. I mean, like I said, whatever it takes to help you get to that good space, man.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, what's your? You want to do another one this week? I think we should.
Yeah.
Thursday night sound good?
Thursday night. Let's hit it.
Yeah. What's the Thursday night football game? Because we didn't even get to the Seahawks.
Two teams that probably aren't very good.
Probably not. Slightly better than the Monday night football game, maybe. All right, dude. Have a good night. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
We'll catch up on Thursday, if not
All
sooner.
right.